Okay, today I want to talk about how to build a house, kind of alternative. What I thought I would do is talk about how I learned real estate at a macro level, and you can see how I come into it and how I would go about building a house today. In no way will this be comprehensive, but I think it would be illuminate matters on kind of how real estate works. There's a push thank you, amongst the mindful about how a community is supposed to develop. So there's the push to return to European villages. Something like pre industrial age, where the automobile took over and it's just nothing but sprawl east of the Appalachians or whatever. By the time you get to California, you're sick to your stomach. My work with Vortex, he would invest in just about anything, but real estate was very helpful for us and profitable. But that's sort of the thing that it was one of the lures that he would set out for buyers. There was duplicity in kind of what if the Vortex and his wife are both dead now. So but it was a pursuit of money. But not only that, they wanted to build a village, return to the European thing where, the breakdown. And you're looking at this right here. I just got off at Rhode Island Brentwood Station. Right up there on the subway. Come out of Chinatown there. So it's to the northeast. You go 2 stations further, or 1 station further, you're at your mother's house there at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. I was going to go out there to watch them put up Christmas decorations. But so what happens here? The problem, the real developers, so the Urban Land Institute wants to tell you this is how it's supposed to be done. Well, you have to be able to make money to do it, What you're trying to do with a master planner, a master developer like Vortex, is you're trying to use cataclysmic money, a shit ton of money, to reproduce human speed. Remember last night we were up in little London there, little Georgetown, right? That went up before the fucking automobiles, 275 years ago, That is a slow growth thing where each person uses, look at that. That's the ugliest thing you'll ever see in your life right there. That's that's the townhouses and the row houses in Georgetown. That's why it's so beautiful. It's pedestrian scale. Built real slow by good craftsmanship over time. This is how it's supposed to be done. There was a guy that come out. He died he buried as he's getting on the train to be a Jew to be murdered. They would bury notes in the ground before they went go to the showers to be killed. One of the notes said, I could never forget. He said, "Why could I just not learn to enjoy the passage of time?" I'm trying to encourage people to live a life at the speed of build a home as you go is what I'm ultimately trying to get you to think of. So this looks like a poor man's Nodal village. See the difference. So there you got different building materials. So they're mimicking what happens in a real village built, cobbled together over time. Well, you come into, so-and-so found a bunch of slate or something out in a quarry. So that year you used that for the foundations, right? If you notice the Washington Needle or that Washington Monument, the slate or the granite changes about a third of the way up. It was built, they found another quarry. So it's real kind of yellowish down below, and then it gets cleaner at the top. It's two different quarries. But here they're trying to imitate and mimic that. Why are barns always red? Barns were always red because red paint was the cheapest. So here you have, they're trying to imitate a varied architectural style with varied colors, and that's fucking cool. It's a really nice deal right here, right? Now, what a master planner and a master developer will tell you is, I want to do this. I want to bring this, I want to inject this back into society. The problem is, for me, I lose money because it takes so humping long. It's what you call patient, it requires patient capital. Why? Basically because the banks aren't lined up to lend money to a homeowner in something like this. It's just not, it's their relationship, I think, with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and shit like that. It's the government's involvement. They're like, I need a postage stamp lot. It needs to be a fucking rectangle. I need a house with the building code requires this many windows per, it's a cookie cutter thing coming out of the 50s, and it comes off the press. The money gets printed for houses like that, and it's a big suburban sprawl. They're used to and that is the bloodlines to the economy. When the money stops, man, I'm telling you, you don't need to be told. When the money stops, you're in fuck city. That's why, Goldman Sachs and all the other, cocksuckers can go and say, we have screwed everything up. We need help. And they get it. Because you cannot stop the flow of money. Otherwise, you're in just shit city, Anyway, so this is nice. But what they'll tell you is what we learned too. It's tragic. I mean, you set out for something huge like this. And this is small. But we did it into the teeth of we didn't know we were going into 2007 was going to hit the economy is going to hit, going into a radical recession and contraction. But, yeah, ultimately they went bankrupt. But that's common. That's common in how many, ask Trump how many, it is a part of American business now to, I think I've even heard him say, yeah, we'll buy that airline, put it into a Chapter 11 or something, or maybe a 7 and turn it for a profit. It's just, there's cannibalism stuck in, and that's what lured me away from just take your daily bread and enjoy the fucking passage of time, man. People want to be needed. So you try to go find a job or a fucking, whatever it is to be, it feels very good to be needed. But what you want to be needed is in a symbiotic relationship with your family. You'll study all the psychology and philosophy in the world. I'm telling you, you'll return to, Sam Vaknin wrote The Malignant Narcissism. It's so good, it's astonishing. He's a world-class cocksucker. And he'll tell you, yes, I am. I'm a world-class cocksucker. At the end of the day, what does the narcissist want, Sam? He wants a family. It's a symbiotic relationship. Man, wife, husband, wife, children, they take care of each other. We've come into a situation where we couldn't have fucked it up worse. But here you are. So what happened, what Vortex will do, and we're going to walk this little thing, and I'll tell you how to. You buy a large parcel towards the, I don't know where to, oh shoot. So here's the urban core. All right, it's your big buildings downtown, and then this is your, suburban area, the suburban sprawl. And you're like, you may say, well, JD, I don't want to live like a fucking hobo or something. It's world-class shit. Where do you think the doctors and lawyers go? They go further out. They go to the exurbs. So you're like, I'm not willing to move. So here's the urban area, this is the suburban area, and this is the ex-urban area. For a doctor or a physician, They need to be within 15 minutes. Somebody's in a tragic car accident, and they get life flighted downtown to the hospital. It's written into their contract. The physicians need to be within 15-minute drive. When your pager goes off, it needs you in the emergency room in 15 humping minutes. So perfect, thank you. A developer will try to create McMansions in an area near a freeway that'll shoot you in. And that's part of your sales pitch to the realtors is, hey, I can get you, this is perfect for, people that want to, you in a 2-year contract with the hospital out here, or you're doing your residency for a year. We got perfect, beautiful $2 million homes or whatever right here in the excerpt, it'll shoot you right into town. But you might say, I don't want to live out in the sticks, JD. Well, lawyers and doctors do that shit all the time. What you're really telling me is I'm not going to do it until I get $10 million in the bank and I have other people to cobble the stones together for me, Well, let's be grown-ups, As Coolio says, too much television watching has got you chasing dreams. The pleasure in life is not just contemplating God, it's in enjoying the passage of time by doing this, and you build a home as you go. It's getting a little stormy, let's head on in. I didn't hear anything about a storm today, so what's nice is here, I'm walking you on a site where you can imagine what I'm saying. So other developers like Vortex, it's hard to find someone like Vortex, but what they'll tell you is, this is how I manage it. Because it's very important to me to try to inject this into society, to bring some sanity into human scale. You want to imitate the little Georgetowns and the Londons and stuff, where you bring back family and community. And so what they'll tell you is, this is how I manage it. I'll buy up a huge site in the, maybe it's an industrial site that's maybe brownfield. It's at the bottom of the barrel near the downtown or something. You buy up a big site, and then you master plan it for as much nodal jumps as you can. Mixed use, high density, medium density. And then he says, but in order for me to finance that project, I've got to carve out a portion of it for big box. That's what everyone wants right now. Everything's right around the automobile. It's the Walmarts, it's the Targets, it's the Home Depots, it's the Lowe's. I can sell that shit, boom, they'll write a check for, 10, 20, 25, 30 bucks a foot. And it's biggity bang, I make my money, then it pays for this slow growth bullshit, because banks are interested simply in, you have to have somebody shove this down the bank's ass, up their ass or down their throat, whatever thing you want to go with. But I like this Main Street. It's a little too much on the, this is great. You kill a development by restricting automobile traffic. It circulates the money. We've learned the hard way. If you shut it down, that was the idea. We'll return the world to pedestrian jump. You destroy it. You have to make some sort of a deal with yourself, with the old world and the new world. You have to make some. Okay, we'll do this human scale stuff, but we'll still allow automobiles. And now they're putting them on street. I feel like it went a little far with the parking in the middle. You've dirtied it up. That just looks, look at, and obviously this is an area where clearly these are people that are falling behind on their bills. If you can't change the oil, look at this, This tells you everything you need to know about the demographics in this area here. You're falling behind on your bills. So what somebody like Vortex and my job was to work with the city to get what you call land use entitlements. So you're a designer essentially, and well, really what you do is you work with other designers and you say, I like that, I like that, I don't like that. They could have done a lot better on this. This is your central node. It could be made a lot more attractive here. It would, oh, there's a nice tree. Because the more attractive this is, the better the traffic behaves, and the more you're able to keep a tenant here that people will want to come here and buy coffee and come out on the porch and drink the tea and watch if this is done properly, That's what I'm saying. It feels like a poor man's nodal village, because they did all this, but then it's like, well, it's like how you should be building your house. Well, we'll get to that later. We haven't put carpets in yet. That's what you have here. It's just, again, you count the costs. So, all right, I think he said you made your point. See, I mean, that's trying to get going there. They're trying to start the engine right here. So you compare that to this. Now this will turn into where it's chiefly all parking lot out here. This will be your strip mall, and then this will be not just a strip mall, but a big box tenant as well. We're gonna go inside, I think. Yeah, you need guys on scooters and shit to run your stuff to you. So you got freight and people, trains. So yeah, this is part. He said, Jesus said, you guys are on a money cross. You're on a crucifixion where you're stretched this way and stretched that. Look at this sea of cars. So, so the idea is, what you do when you master plan a site is you get approval from the city, and then you have to go. Sometimes, to get to master plan, what they call plan unit development, you have to go before the planning commission, and if they're large scale like we would do, that also needs approval from the city council and the county commissioners often. You're right. At that point, you're asking approval for your mixed-use zoning, and that's where the money is. So, with Vortex, we go to the edge of the town, into the exurbs, exurbs and suburbs, buy up huge tracts what were formerly farm, and master plan it for these villages like that. Really pretty stuff, and the money was in the enhanced, what you call more intensive use. So it's basically legal. It's legal work. You just you make an argument why they should change the zoning from agricultural to a mixed use, medium density village with some small scale, medium scale commercial uses. Once you have that approval from the city, then you apply for a subdivision. And that takes a surveyor to go out and say, this is how big I want the lots, and this is what the city's going to approve under our agreement. And so it just take you see them on the corners with the tripod legs. I think they call it a theodolite, or I'm not sure how they do all that, but the point is they put down the meets and bounds. This corner starts here. Now you have a legal lot you can sell. Meaning, really what it means is You have a legal lot that the bank is gonna buy. You're not buying the fucking house. The bank is buying the house. There's very few actual homeowners in this country. The bank owns your shit, man, you know? Man, we got like a storm coming in or something. This is unexpected. It's very cold, but I didn't expect this. There's diplomat plates right here. So what I'm advocating is buy one of these. No. Although this is not a bad way to look at it. You know, I like fly shit. I would never put a woman in shit that ain't fly and that she's not gonna. People need, here's Christmas trees. Let's go up the back door here. I'm not sure that, yeah, it's locked. I'm not sure they'll let us in, but it's a good place to start our talk. I feel safer right here. I need space to talk. I need space to effing talk, man. I need space to talk. Here you go. There you go. Thank you. All right. That's a postage stamp lot. Now that's a higher density. That looks like a. Have you seen duplexes, friend? When you're a kid growing up, neighbor had. Those are on corner lots. We have one. One house faces that way, and it turns the corner, and one house faces that way. That looks like a tandem to me. You know. So there's a higher. You're asking the. Anyway. If you're chopping up your dope, right, you need to measure out a certain amount of dope, right? You have to, that's what we did with real estate. You're buying up a huge bunch of real estate, and in order to chop that dope up into smaller parcels that we can sell off to make a profit, we have to convince the city that we're going to build it according to their their laws, and Planning Commission has to say we like the idea. You see what I'm saying? And so that you're creating value, but most importantly, you've created a legal lot that the bank is willing to purchase and go out on a limb for you to make a shit ton of payments that you don't need to make over time. So again, a lot of this, they say, I can't do that. It costs me money. It'll bankrupt my LLC. I'll carve up the land to have some of that, that's fucked up. This is super fucked up. But that's what we're kind of after. It's really kind of ugly, but it's a start. You know what I mean? But that's what they're saying is, I can pay for the project by doing this horse shit right here. This destructive shit right here. You know, that's how they used to do land use planning. Was they thought ingeniously they're going to change the world, right? When we had all this land, you had a blank slate. So your North Star at this point was going to be technology. So they came into this bright idea. Let's separate uses. We'll put all the houses on that side of town, and then all the labor and all the work, all the factories on that side of town. And then all your commercial, where you buy and get your milk and bread, all them chumps is on the other side of town. Oh, this is fantastic. Nobody will ever be in anybody's shit. What a wonderful kumbaya world it'll be. Yeah, John Lennon, no religion either. Imagine all the people. It was an interesting exercise, I guess. I don't know. But now you have a bunch of neurotic people. You hear how I talk? You hear me clearing my throat? Hear me sniffing like that? Shit. I'm a nervous man. Now, I'm probably a more severe case than a lot of cocksuckers, but I look around and I see a lot of broken people like myself. Now, those are actually Hispanics here to work. They're offering day labor for these people, but the point is, Western society created a lot of neurosis. The neurosis came about because the way we harness the technology and the ideals and values behind it, we really fucked ourselves up. I admire families that are somehow survived this enormous goat fuck. Cobb is kind of what I had in mind, where I was going to take us. That was the end. If you always remember when you're giving a speech, you have something to say. I wanted to get to Cobb, so I'm taking the long way around to get to making it out of. Here's straw. There's a key ingredient right here. This is straw, right? From hay bales, right? So I found a book. There's a guy. How you make out of earth, these houses last longer. Holy crap. Oh, been there, partner. So it was a guy who went to South America. He says, I wanted to help them make ovens to keep their homes warm. And he says, I learned it just by experimenting. The best combination to make those earth ovens or whatever they are is, there's gonna be bark mulch underneath that's dirt. I think he said, I don't know, you have to read the book yourself or look it up. 90% soil, 10% sand, and then you put your water and you mix it up, and it's very, very simple. You're making mud. Then while you're making that mud, just like this right here, you take a shovel, friend. So you dig a hole in the ground, throw your sand, your dirt, and then straw. You're making a brick, but it's going to be a little kind of slushy, right? This getting thrown in there creates what they call tensillary strength. It's a binder, the mud, so it doesn't break apart easily. And you're making mud brick. All you're doing is making mud bricks. Now my family was gone in and asked the bank, we're building a home. We found this beautiful lot out in Lowell, and a lot of my family's done this, but some people are maybe too afraid to be embarrassed or something. A bank seems scary. They're cocksuckers, no doubt. You're dealing. Just remember, you're dealing with people that they're like dignified. They're reptilian motherfuckers, which is no different than a crack dealer. And if you have some trouble with that, just keep working it through.
Yes, you too.
So, what I was gonna do. Look at all those birds. So what I was gonna do, I went to White Duck. I bought this I was really pleased with it. I'm happy with it. Anyway, it came about that Eden, my manager, the case manager, she said, well, what do you got in that storage unit? I said, well, look it up on your phone. It's a 20-foot Avalon canvas glamping tent. She looked up and she goes, Justin, my gosh. It's really incredible. I mean, it's got 11-foot ceilings and shit. I said, I found a lot out in Arizona for $2,000. The further out you get, it's obviously, the further out you get from the urban core, it gets cheaper. Depends on the site. Site selection's an interesting thing, but found a site for $2,000, that's what they call unimproved. You're going to have to handle your septic and your storm. We were talking about that yesterday. Handle the pee and poo on site. You're going to handle your stormwater runoff yourself, But that is what my thesis right now is. That is the enjoyment of life. You and your family can work together. That's how you pass time in life. Is doing it with gradual pay as you go, build as you go, and not cataclysmic money. We did this in an incorporated way with syndicates and the banking. We put all our money together, and we'll see, and supercharged life. It's like life on crystal meth. Australia just passed a law. If you're under 16 years old, you can't be on social media. Buddy, that's just, you're hardly even getting started there. I mean, we're destroying our kids. So let's just go inside real fast and take a look. So what I told her is I found a $2,000 unimproved lot. Then it's yours. You pay $2,000 for it. You work at the airport. You make that in 1 month, you know, and that's what you take home, set aside after. And the tent I got from White Duck, that big glamping, that enormous mother humper. Eden said, "My gosh, that's incredible." It was about $2,200, but I sent some coupons aside, and they gave me a swinging deal for $1,300-1,400 or something. But anyway, yeah, we have a bunch of neurotic people, and it's Western civilization has done that to us. So, you know, you honestly, you kind of feel as if you have to have that. You have to have $50,000 car. Police are here. Stand by. See, it's contract police. It's contract police. It's a common thing. Theft is so serious around here that you have it everywhere. So. Yeah, we'll take a look at let's take a look at some jumps. That look familiar? I think the yellow stands for explosiveness. All right. Drones, baby. I need the big jump. I need the big jump. Yeah, we accepted this way of life because it was somebody else told us. That's really pretty. Let's look at let's try to make it's actually nicer and quieter in here. That'd be louder. It's Home Depot. So what I'd like to do is just how to make a form for your bricks, for your mud house. And I'm talking about like fly jump. Hold on, let's real fast talk about. Yeah, I've done most of my shop. I haven't been back here in a while, but like uplighting is like the slickest stuff in the world. But my point is you can do uplighting without extending electricity out there. You have let me move things around, but you have solar powered uplighting here. Well, my point, I don't see it right now, but my point is like out on the lawn, on the side of the house, you have they're solar powered. It's a little spike, you put it into the side of the house and it casts, you have a bush there, you cast the light on the side of the house. I'm not talking about like Like some people are into that, like the Irish like Shire look, like it's a round house. I'm not talking about like living like humping Frodo, man. You can make this shit fly. Anyway, let's try to find out. I'll show you how to make a form. Yeah, I mean, you save up. So over time, it feels a symbiotic relationship in a family. And people seek it out in a corporate environment. How about you guys end up with work wives? Whew, huh? It feels good to be needed. And that's what a family is. And a wife is gonna want to handle her affairs on a beautiful, just because you have a cob home. And there's a variety of different models of doing cob. But you save up over time. There's recycle yards where they deconstruct buildings and stuff like that. And you use recycled materials. Like I was saying, the slate out there, the cob, you're cobbling things together over time. But you come home and you're like, honey, you wouldn't believe what I found. It's that, the white oak floors that you always told me you're dreaming of. I found it, finally. I've been keeping an eye on it. You know what I'm saying? This is a symbiotic relationship. It's like, I think you're going to love it. You don't just go get it without her approval, right? You say, come down and see it or whatever, Tell me if this meets your approval. And she's like, no, I was hoping it'd be lighter. And you're like, well, you ask the guy, can we sand it down? Or, you know what I mean? It just, that's how enjoying the passage of time with that poor Jew was saying, and with Lee after the war, they asked him what, because he was in the market he lost that mansion we were just at yesterday. He lost it. He tells the people that are helping him find a home, makes it clear, I'm simply looking for a place to take my daily bread. That's it. I'm not, people have asked priests, what do fallen angels, the exorcists, what do they like doing? He said, well, one thing they like doing is thinking. Thinking is one of the greatest luxuries in life. What you're doing, this process is simply facilitating, you're contemplating life, God and history. You're contemplating the Lord and yourself and these symbols that he puts, yeah, there's recycle yards that, when you deconstruct and you get it, you don't have to come pay top dollar here. In fact, before Jesus showed up and put us skids to just about everything, I was making my next big purchase was a giant solar battery. That mother humper was going to power that house so what the big white duck glamping tent, it appeared Eden or someone of her stature would have been very happy in. She was really moved by it. I said, that's the temporary structure. It's going to take me time, a year or two, to complete the cob home that I'm planning, And I don't know engineering. Engineering doesn't come naturally to me. So I have to ask questions, and then I'm pretty good once you tell me the concept. Like I've got pretty much everything down, except I don't understand the stress engineering of how the roof. Site selection's an interesting thing. Remember yesterday we were talking about, we were at Lee's house, and I said, water seeks the lowest place. I was telling you about that book, A Spiritual Connection, Hind's Feet for High Places. Water seeks, just like you should be with your soul, don't seek the highest thing, seek the lowest. Something we learned the hard way, it seems. But that means you do not want to put your house, your pad on your house where you're going to erect your house, you do not want to put it in the low spot on the land. So you have a couple acres, or you have put it at the high spot so the water runs off away from your home. It's okay if you mess up and you screw everything up. It's happened. People really good, the people that I'm talking about, he wrote a book on it. I've got it underneath my bed, actually. I just had somebody right there. is he said one of the first ones we did. He said we write the book on it now, and he says one of the first one we did, we put it too far. It flooded every time it rained. It would flood. I had to clean it out, and we have to accept that our sinful nature we're living in a curse. So life comes with thorns and thistles. You have to accept that. Continually seeking to get out of that debt causes more pain and suffering. But I was hoping to, I mean, they have different options. You can buy it. Now this isn't, and I don't want to get into that, but it's you can see building a home and looking out for your wife and your kids. We've become cannibalistic rather than. Yeah, you hunt down a real pretty door for your wife or whatever. There you go. So now this is going to be a 2x12, right? I'm pretty sure. How big do you want your bricks? And you ask somebody that's already, the bricks that you're making, you ask somebody that's already done it. And the one advice I got from pros was start out small. You're going to have to use your own judgment. Mine was, I think I'm going to go big. And the shit's got to be fly. I have to look good. I have to feel good. If I don't feel good, Anyway, let me just go with how I would do it. That 12-inch brick. So what you're doing... was that 2x6? This is sufficient for what I'm after. It's a 2x6, I think. Hold on. Oh, I got a little sap on them jump. Okay.
Can I have a floor or a blind association out 33?
This is, I think that's 6-inch. And what you're doing, how big do you want your bricks? I want mine about 6 inches tall. This is about 1 foot. So, I don't know, maybe 6 inches tall by 8 inches. Or, no, like a foot. So what you do, you chop up some of this and you take this and you kind of square it off and you hit the nails into the junk right there. And then you create, hold on. It's hard for me to write. This doesn't come natural to me, so I have to explain it all. You guys remember this song? This is 112. Did you fall in love in 1996? Or think that you did? That's beautiful music. This is what a form looks like. So you'll chop up another one of these right here, and you put that junk right here, and you hit the nail in here to make, and you put it right here. You're making a mold, and you put your mud, your dirt, and the sand that's already mixed up, and it's all kind of milky, like a milkshake, with the straw I just showed you. You pour it in there, and then you pour another one right here, Another one here. So you have whatever size brick you want. If you want to do them 12 inches or whatever, you want them fucking huge, it's going to take a lot longer to... What are your constraints? You know, do you need to get this thing up in a hurrah? Then you need them to dry in 24 hours. But if you have several days or several weeks, maybe you could go with big bricks. But that's how a form is made. It's very, very simple. When you go to do it yourself, it's not going to be much different than what I've just shown you. You're going to do your foundation maybe with rock and stuff like that. But I'm just kind of giving you a sense of what... Oh, this is Cupid. I was going to say, you should listen to 112's Cupid. So, anyway, then you let it dry. It'll dry in 24 hours, but then you have to sit it out. It'll take 3 weeks before it cures. And then I think from there, if you want to... He's hitting them high notes. You don't have to, but it's cool if you bake your bricks. Yeah, you can go on YouTube to see this stuff, or ask a neighbor how he did his. And then it's rock hard, and honestly, the thing will last you thousands of years. Where a stick-built home that the government will back a loan from, you know, Fannie Mae or whomever. They've lasted 100 years. I don't know how long they last. Buddy, the trees or the underbrush, it takes over a house once you leave it. That's why and I would encourage a developer, if you're sitting on real estate that's not getting used, allow somebody to go in there. I know you don't want them banging it up, this and that. You do not want your house getting molded. You need the house getting warm. You need people in it warming. But in the process, you'll help the family that can't get on their feet. But they're going to beat up the house. But it's worse to let it just sit idle. The elements take over a house super fast, man. Another upside is when you're building with cob, them shits don't burn down. What was another thing I was gonna do? Let's go to garden. Maybe we'll wrap up there. Yeah, I want to talk about how, you know. Now, one other quote I want to say is they say a child-centered home is a Christ-centered home. Your life should be about blessing your children, you know. I mean, yeah, and there's alternative ways to handle septic. Let's talk about it real fast. There's alternative ways to handle septic online, or it's not on site, and the runoff. They'll use, like I was showing you guys, the storm drains we can go into and stack our fertilizer underneath General's Row. You know, there's another way of doing that when you can't connect like they could with those huge pipes and those tunnels down there. You handle it on site, and they'll use a fancy word called bioswale to handle the runoff. Do you know what a bioswale really means? It means ditch. You just make a ditch, the runoff goes into the ditch. You make it a bioswale by putting a couple plants in there to make it look pretty. Friend, I'm telling you, you can do your development on your own. Guess what? You're gonna fuck up and make mistakes. That's part of the process, man. That's part of life. But hunting down, like, dude, I had, yeah, the solar jump that I had set aside, I was setting up to close on my little, I was buying a couple acres in Arizona. Oh, that was the thing. Okay, harm reduction. There's a county in Arizona that has said, we have people that are coming across the border that are shoving it in our ass anyway. They're just going to build whatever the hump they want. No banks involved. No building permits, or they're not going to the county, the city. Is this okay? They're just saying, fuck it. We're putting up anything we want, however we want. We'll use a a broke down RV, and then we'll add a tent next to it. That's an addition. They'll do whatever they want. And so what they're saying at the at,
Thank you.
this is interesting. Even land use, real estate, everybody, banking, you need to hear this story. It's really interesting to me. There's a county down there saying, I just call it harm. It's got to be harm reduction. They're saying, just bring your plant, whatever you're doing, just bring it to us. Show it to us so we can comment on it. We will not come out. We will not. Where it stands now is you are completely vulnerable to the government. Completely. You know, they can even say eminent domain, we're taking it all. We'll give you fair market price, get the fuck out. I mean, it's radical what the government can do, but they're saying, just show us your plan. Write it on a napkin if you're building, whether it's cob, whether it's whatever building supplies you come up with, because we want to help our community. We know you're going to do it anyway. You're going to build whatever you want. But if we could tell you, hey, in a fire event, it would help. You will save your life and your little kid's life, or your guest that's over, you'll save their life if you put an extra window in the back. Like it passed fire code. We won't come out. We won't do an inspection unless you want us to. But just tell us what you have in mind, and we'll tell you how to make it better. In my mind, that's something how a government should work. Carpet's fun. They sell here and at other places, and you could tell them, hey, I have budgetary constraints. Can you help me? And they call what's called remnants. When somebody comes in to build a 2,000 square foot home, well, they cut it up to the size of the rooms and they have remnants, like leftovers. Can you get me a good deal, or make friends with the guy on the back and say, hey, I'll help buy your whatever, you can trade and barter. Yeah, I'm really big on architecture and lighting architecture. Let's head out back and see what we can find.
Items qualify for same day and next day delivery. Shop online and select from one of our flexible delivery options. Get
we really got taken away from, all these derivatives on top of derivatives. And hold on. So I thought we would do a real positive thing, and then, a little carrots and sticks sort of thing. What we're doing out here is we're looking for, I think, ammonium nitrate. I'm not sure. Here's trivia for you. How do I say this? About 300 years ago, the population started to explode. And this would have created a catastrophe. I love these bricks, man. You can get stylish with this. You get wild and stylish with this stuff. They called it the Malthusian trap. It was a guy named his last name was Malthus. He says, you can't escape this trap. Whenever there's extra food, we reproduce more. And once we reproduce more, there's less food because there's more mouths to eat that food. So it's a constant feast and famine type thing. And they called it the Malthusian trap. You're never going to escape that. Well, then suddenly, out of nowhere, I think it was, 300 years ago, population started to explode. Around that time, we discovered... I'll finish this talk somewhere else. She's working right there. Close the aisle. Look at the Christmas trees. Look at Metro here. So, you guys ever seen Ace Ventura, Pet Detective? He's bat guano. Shikaka. It's bat guano. They discovered it, I think, that it can recharge the soil. And I think is what it is. The bird eats all the seeds and they shit out. There was an island somewhere off the coast of South America. They shit it out. And they realized that they can chop it up and put it back. They can recharge. I think it's nitrogen. And it recharges it recharges the soil. So, because if you keep doing corn over and over and over again, you exhaust the land. I think the Jews, the Old Testament, in the Torah or whatever it was, Jesus had made it clear. I think after 6 years of putting a piece of land to work, you're to let it go idle for a year. You give that piece of land furlough. It gets a year off. Do you not professors get that? What do you call that? Furlough, or I'm sorry. You get a year off. For every 6 years you work, you get a year. Something like that, don't you? Right? That's it. It comes from the laws that God gave the Jews that they were to extend to us. You were to. So then we discovered this bat guano. And so we put slaves to work to get down there and take axes and break it apart and then put it on boats to get it back to England and Ireland. It's about the time I think we began to domesticate the potato. It was these two events that rescued us from mass, starvation or whatever comes about when you have too many people and not enough food. So it was the bat guano, it was bat poop that we discovered has nitrogen in it, which recharges the nutrients that have been taken out of the soil. Incidentally, it plays into this story that I was making it clear you can place ammonium nitrate, which is fertilizer. It's highly, highly explosive. You mix that with, they've even said you could mix it with like maple syrup, but you really want to crank it up to, in my view, the minimum you need to do is the ammonium nitrate and diesel. Ideally, like I said, get your hands on the ammonium nitrate and the nitromethanol, which is top fuel for race cars, for the dragsters. So right now we're just going to look around for ammonium nitrate. Where I would do it personally, I would put on that I'm working in a Virginia mine and they sell it in the pink pellets. You don't have to put on that, hey, I'm using this in my yard. They use it to blast holes for mining. It's used extensively for that purpose. I don't the nitrate on its own, I don't think is that. No, that's not true. In fact, we bought up a huge site. A lot of people don't know that. I think we bought up that huge site. Then we put the Peace Health flagship Peace Health Hospital in Springfield. It was rural farm. My job was to work the 12.42 acre Schnetsky site. He was a farmer, and we discovered not only did he have a lot of dynamite on the site, he had a lot of fertilizer. We had to call they're getting it in. We had to call the sheriff, they're like, well, I don't know what the fuck to do, Well, they're like, well, can you send a bomb squad or something? I don't remember how we resolved that, to be honest with you, but it's how ubiquitous it is, This is not, so we're looking for ammonium nitrate to charge the soil. That's all topsoil, real fine stuff. You can smell the Christmas trees. These are fresh cut Christmas trees. She has it cut. She has that aisle cut off for some reason. I really want to get back there. Why you would buy this application right here is basically to get your lawn greener than your neighbor's lawn. That's pretty much all it is. But you can sometimes you can find some supercharged shit here. Let's try to see. And they look at they're just putting Christmas tree stuff up. I'm pretty sure it's over there. Yeah, this is gonna be it. You see the branding here? Vigora is obviously, I think, suggestive of it's Viagra for the yard. Let me see if I can sneak over there. Hold on. Yeah, incidentally, the guy who wrote the book about making the Cobb homes, guess where he's based out of? And he runs tutorials out there. You can go out there for 2 days or a week, and he'll show you how to. Cottage Grove, Oregon. I'm like, man, it was 20 miles from where I was living in Eugene, so it's just kind of funny. You know, you go, life takes you away from home, and you realize it was right under your nose the whole time. I just want to see here.
Whoa.
Oh.
That's why we have the gate.
Oh, you're taking it real serious?
Yes. It's safety.
Do you have fertilizer? Is this the
Could you please go out there to the gate after?
Yeah. Is this fertilizer? I'll come back. Is this the fertilizer jump?
You can get in.
Okay. I'm sorry. You're right. I need to respect what you got going on. I'm sorry. I'll come back a little later. Is this the fertilizer area?
Oh yeah, that's right here in the first bay of the C8.
It's right over here on the other side? Fertilizer for my...
For your fruit, yes.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, no, we need industrial scale. This ain't gonna get it. Starter fertilizer. That's why I'm saying you want to go to a healthy lawn food. That's why I'm saying you want to go to a country, farm tractor, like a Tractor Supply. There's going to be 3 numbers on it. This ain't it, man. We need to get it in. All right, well, here's an idea. This is, okay, here you go. All right, thank you very much. Here you go. See total nitrogen? 3%. These are rookie numbers. We need to pump these numbers up. These are the numbers you're looking for just for a starter and what you're kind of after here. You gotta watch my 6. You see, it says 344. This is rookie numbers. Is rookie gets. I'm sorry, I need to not be so loud. The first number is the nitrogen. The second number is phosphorus, and the third number is potassium. You're looking for, that means it's 3% nitrogen, 4% phosphorus, 4% bananas. You want it to be, I think, at least like 50%. You want it cranked up to like a 50% total nitrogen. Dude, this is just this is just, I'm trying to give a basic tutorial. You want it to be like, you don't care about the second or third number, I don't think. You want a huge first number, the nitrogen. Again, engineering isn't my thing. It just doesn't come natural to me. If you walk me through it, I can understand. And this is what you would call, excuse me, this is what you would call chemical engineering. Like the engineering, the engineering on the house, really, I got most of it done. But I need somebody to tell me the stress calculations. I cannot have the roof fall down on my wife or my kids or my visitor when the priest swings by or the neighbor swings by. You know, most things I can solve on my own, but that's chemical engineering, structural engineering. That's the sort of stuff I need to kind of help walk myself through. So just be honest with yourself when some people are afraid to look stupid. And I get that, but I think most people could get the concept when you sort of just. So I hope I've said something today where you can kind of a starting point, like a red thread that you can pull on to start your journey on home building. You know. Anyway, I think that's it for me. I wanna, but. The Christmas trees sure smell nice here, you know. But praise the Lord. Thank you, Mother Mary.